don't actually.
Okay, so next
We'll
time.
promote the video
All right, sounds
coming.
good.
Yeah. And
All
Lissa,
right.
I saw something on Insta the other, maybe it was
Oh, wait, I
yesterday
think
or the
we're
day
live.
before.
I think we're live. I think we are live. So we'll chat in a minute, you guys. Thank you so much. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ and Friends. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and I have three friends with me today. First, I have Lissa and Nate Maris. They've been on the show many times before. They have their own show on my show called Feeling Great with Lissa and Nate for a very long time. And they are known to collectively together as Raw Food Romance. And the reason they're here is because they just spent 8 glorious days with me at Rancho La Puerta, and they're going to do a recap of their trip. If they can do it there raw, you can do it there SOS free or whatever your diet is. Don't know if you could do it there if you were carnivore, but we'll find out. And we also have the ranch representative that coordinates our groups, and we couldn't do it without Donna Scher. She's been on the show before. And if you have specific questions, you can put them in the chat because we're going back in July 19th to 26th. And my guest is going to be Dr. Ellen Goldhammer, and there's just a few spots left. So before I welcome them to the show, the last show I was showing all the gifts and thanking people. But I waited to show the one that Lissa and Nate gave me because they were coming on. But first, I want to thank Teresa. We showed the massage gift certificate, but it got disconnected from who it's from. So definitely it's you, Teresa. And for my 65th birthday, which we celebrated at Rancho, now I would have thought 65, I would have got 65 wraps.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Lissa, that would be impossible. Lissa, because these do last much longer than you would realize. Because when she gave me the Christmas wraps, the 12 days of Christmas, they lasted several months, but she gave me one wrap for every day we've been away. And what's really cool is I never would think to do this, but she was doing this at the ranch, and I was kind of sneaking some of her wraps is some of them she cut into these cute little fourths. So like we could just make these little mini, oh my God, this is the everything with the bagel. If you guys don't have Lissa's wrap book, I don't know. I don't know how you be raw or how you even do vegan. Please welcome to the show, Lissa, Nate, and Donna. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
hello.
hello. We are so happy to be here, and thank you so much to you and to Donna for everything, for the trip, like all of the amazingness that we got to experience. It was absolutely wonderful.
Well, I had invited you before, quite a while back, if I remember, but you didn't have a passport because at the time you weren't an American citizen, so you couldn't go. And Nate was actually a last minute add-on because somebody canceled. I mean, he wasn't even going to go. Nate actually missed his skiing trip. I think it was Utah or somewhere. And he was a little bit conflicted, but I knew you would have a better time with him. But I was just impressed how you navigated the ranch because, it's completely easy to do as a vegan. I mean, the ranch, it is not a vegan place. It's pescatarian. There is fish occasionally and cheese. However, as a vegan, they can totally accommodate you. But if you're now oil-free or sugar-free and salt-free, they can accommodate you with some, you have to communicate with them. But I'm thinking, oh my God, they're raw. They don't eat they're not going to eat the rice, the beans. What are they going to eat? Well, you did great. And people were commenting on, it was nice to have the focus off of me for my large portions and having it on you.
Uh, yeah, it was really easy to do raw at the ranch. We did breakfast was basically fruit, and we loved the papaya. The pineapple was really great too. The melons were super sweet. I had never had such an amazing blackberry in my whole life. Those blackberries were next level delicious. They had ginger shots and they had green juice and orange juice, fresh pressed. So breakfast was like super easy. Lunch was really great because there was a salad bar with lots of greens, and all of that was picked at the farm on the ranch. So that was really nice. And there were other things like we just had to ask for avocado. They had some olives at the salad bar, and we would put salsa on there as our dressing. They did have nutritional yeast that you could sprinkle with ground chia, ground flax. They had other spices on there as well that you could add if you wanted to. And then we also had our wraps, and we used those to kind of as a bonus little extra. We would sometimes make a salad and then put that in the wrap, and then we would roll that up. But they're really easy to travel with, and you can put them in your suitcase. Like Nate had them in his checked bag, and we just brought them over and had them. And we made you a bunch, and we just had a really fun time with the wraps. So that was, yeah, really awesome.
It was great. And another thing that I really loved about the ranch is they had fresh pressed
orange juice and fresh green juice every morning, as well as the turmeric shots. And I don't know if it was pineapple juice in those turmeric shots. I don't know
It was
what kind of,
orange juice.
was
Orange
it
juice.
orange juice?
Yeah.
Okay. And then they had a really nice salsa bar at breakfast, which
Mm.
was really fun too, because sometimes, we're craving something a little bit more savory for breakfast. So Liz and I both, my mouth's watering just even thinking about it. We had our papaya and watermelon and melons. They had the cantaloupe and the honeydew, as well as the pineapple for breakfast. And that was pretty typical for the mornings. They did have the mixed berries a couple of the mornings, as well as some plums cut up, which is really nice. And we could have gotten more dates if we wanted. To ask them for dates or bananas. Of course, they did have the bananas cut up, which was really nice for breakfast. And they also had prunes, which prunes were really fun to, throw in the breakfast dish as well. But that salsa bar they had in the morning though was so good.
Well, they have the salsa bar not just in the morning, but at lunch. I actually, one of the things you guys didn't do, Lissa and Nate helped me with all three of my hands-on cooking classes, and that was really fun having them there. But I actually took a cooking class there the first time with Chef Rancho, who's been on the show a couple of times, and it was just extraordinary. And they actually taught all the ranch classics, like all those salsas that you see at the salsa bar.
I love that. Yeah, and they did have it throughout the day, but I feel like later in the day, I don't know if they had the same things out there in that salsa bar, but I really appreciate that it was there in the morning. And of course, like you said, it's a pescatarian retreat, so they had eggs and these sorts of things, and I think that a lot of people would use those condiments right with their egg. But Liz and I were just making like full on little salads with that, so it was great.
Yeah, they had in the morning it was the nopal salad, so it was like tomato with the cactus, and they had some marinated cabbage, and then they had the two salsas as well, and they had marinated onions as well.
Yeah.
So that was what we did, and then Nate loved that green tomatillo sauce, and he
Mm.
would like load his up with that. It was just really nice to have, a little savory with our breakfast as well. So we'd eat all the fruit and then we would have our little savory salad and we were good to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we did bring some freeze-dried stuff with us too. And we brought some other snacks with us as well, but we didn't really even tap into any of the snacks that we brought or the wraps. I think it was like maybe the third or yeah, I want to say it was like around the third day, maybe the fourth day. Where we're like, you know what, I'm kind of ready for something different, because of course it's not a raw event. And, we were doing the best that we could with what we had. I would suggest for anybody who is raw, wanting to stay raw, going there, bring a bowl, a big bowl, because all they had was plates. And to have a big, massive salad on a plate, and they were dinner plates. They were like maybe 8 inches, possibly 10 inches. But it was pretty hard to navigate having massive salads on these little plates. So yeah, that's, thinking ahead, like when we do go back, we're just going to bring our bowls because I wanted to take the whole mixing bowl, the serving bowl. Like, oh, if we just had this whole mixing bowl, it'd be so much easier to make the salad because salads can be kind of messy. But yeah, that was the only really downside I felt like was just not having the proper bowl to eat out of. And then of course, we brought those wraps, so I
Yeah,
think
well,
yeah,
you basically needed a trough. What did you say to people watching you guys build your salads, I don't know how that much could even get on a plate, but people did comment. Well, how did you handle that?
Yeah, well, we usually, when somebody says something about the size of our salads or whatever, we just kind of smile and wave and we're like, yeah, look at this. It's pretty awesome, right? And we'll just,
yeah, we're hungry.
we're hungry, so we're going to eat it. And it's also nice to be able to show and share about volume eating and how that looks like as a raw vegan. So when people do
Yes.
see it, they're like, whoa, you have to eat a
Yeah.
lot. And it's like, yeah, you do have to eat a lot when you're on a raw diet. You have to have two huge salads on the plates instead of, just one smaller one. And you really have to eat a lot. So it was really great for people to see. And everybody was really interested in the amount that we had on our plates and asking questions about it. And they would see we would put two huge plates. We would fill two huge plates like overflowing with salad. Nate would chop it up, so it was kind of like a chopped salad, and then we would put both of those plates into a wrap because we would take the wraps to help you with the school. So we would have those for dinner with all the, the guac and the other raw things that were on your menu.
Well, most people, when they go to Mexico, customs will ask if you have anything to declare, and they'll say things like, oh, well, I bought this souvenir dish or whatever. Well, you brought something very unexpected and wonderful home from Mexico. Can you talk about that? And maybe can you even show it?
Oh, yes. Okay, I'll let Nate start sharing a little bit about that story, and I will go get what we brought back.
So yeah, so I believe it was I want to say it was the very first day that we got there. We're kind of getting used to the grounds, and there was the track there at the resort, and I believe there's like a vineyard kind of in that area. I'm not sure if it's a track or a vineyard. It's just a nice like open field, and we saw this cat, which we did see some cats before prior. We saw a couple of the cats by the dining room, and they didn't really like take too much interest in us, and we tried to coo them and pet them, and they were nice, but we saw this other cat down by that vineyard, and she just was rolling around and so talkative, and she started to climb the vines, and she loved being pet, and it was really hard to not just keep petting her, and we pretty much fell in love with her at that moment. Yeah, and there
I
she is
have
right
her
there.
here. I have her here. Can you guys see?
Oh, so
Oh.
good. Look at her.
Not a cat
And,
person. This is the most loving, beautiful cat I've ever seen. I'm
Oh,
her
yes.
godmother.
Yes,
yep,
you're
you're
the
the
godmother.
godmother. Yeah, so what it was we saw her that day, and then the next day, Lissa and I took different hikes in the morning. So I went on the pilgrim hike. No, sorry, the professor's hike, and that was another really cool thing about this event is all the different things you could choose from, and they have these amazing hikes every single morning, which both Lissa and I love to hike. But Lissa was feeling something a little bit more mellow, and I kind of wanted to do something a little bit harder. So we took separate hikes, and she went on the meditation hike, which was called the Dove Trail, wasn't it, babe? The Dove
Yes,
Trail.
it was the
Yeah.
Dove Trail. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we met up after the hike, she had said, so you remember that cat? That cat led us on the hike, and then she would stop, she'd pull off, and then she'd go behind everybody. She like led them and also was the shepherd, which is, really nice about the hikes that you do take. There's a shepherd, there's somebody walking behind everybody, making sure everybody gets back safe. They count everybody. So it's really, really nice. That nobody's being left behind. So anyways, this cat was like the leader and the shepherd. And another really interesting part was, when was that, Lissa, when she was on the grave, Alex's
So
grave?
that was right in the morning when we were meeting up for the meditation
Okay.
hike. She was sitting right on the stone for Alexander, the son of the woman who founded the ranch. And so she's just sitting there. And yeah, she totally went with us on the hike. She sat with us while we were all meditating at Reflection Point. And she was just like so friendly, so loving. And then after the hike, we all met up at the labyrinth. There's like this labyrinth that you can go to, and you can actually turn the dial and it'll play like Zen music, and you can walk the meditation labyrinth. So we met there, and the cat's just like hanging out, loving everything. And the hike leader said that they were looking for a home for her. And that kind of planted the seed in my head. I was like, uh-oh, are we gonna take this one home? So they were looking for a home for her. And we, kind of started to fall in love with her. And then it was probably, oh yeah, and then it was the next day we decided not to go on a hike because Chef AJ asked us to go to sunrise yoga with her. So we go to sunrise yoga, and there the cat is again looking through the window like, "Hey, let me in."
And this is a really big place. There's a lot
Mm.
of buildings, there's a lot of studios, there's a lot of casitas and little places for people to stay when they're there. I can't remember if I heard correctly, like a 4,000 acre ranch, essentially. Huge place. So out of all of these places, here she comes up to the yoga studio.
Yep. And she like comes in, and we like hang out with her, and she's so sweet. And then she curled up on my Shavasana blanket and gave herself a bath. And we're like, this is unreal. This cat is so sweet. So then, we finish our class, we go about our thing, then we teach the class with Chef AJ, and then on one of the classes, after the class, Chef AJ and I went for
Yeah, that was
massage.
Thursday night, our second to last.
Yes. Yeah, it was Thursday night. We went for a massage, and on our way back, this little cat ran up to us, just like totally ran up and was like, meow, like really cute. So we picked her up, brought her back, and
I
oh, that
said,
was you. That was you.
this is where I play a part. Let's not forget. I said, let's bring her back to the room. And you said, well, should we? Can we? And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, that's what happens. We brought her in the room. She never left.
Yep, she never left. She wanted to hang out. She slept with you. She slept with Nate. She snuggled up
Well,
with me.
actually, that first night we were hanging out with her. And I remember like we were trying to decide whether or not to keep her inside, and we didn't have a litter box. Like, what does she do? So we ended up leaving her outside. But I remember that night I was hanging out with her on the porch, and we were just kind of hanging out. And she does this call and response so well. Like, so if you talk to her, she will talk back to you. Of course, she's not like super sassy, you know what I mean? Like, but she does talk back every time you'd say something. So it was really fun being out there with her. And she just was walking all along the rail, the stone rail of the patio. And so I said goodnight. We went to bed, shut the door, and I was sleeping next to a window, and I'd have the window cracked about 4 or 5 inches. And that next morning, she came up to the window, and for some reason, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe there's not even a screen. She's going to come right in, because she was like nudging her nose, like trying to come in. And that's when AJ got out of bed and was like, she opened the slider door, and she came right in, and we were over. It was over then.
Yep.
We're like, we have to figure out how to bring this cat home. It was interesting, all three of us trying to figure out what the best ways to go would be. But so she came in, got up on the bed with us, and just curled up, started giving herself a bath, and just snuggled up, and then just fell asleep. And of course, it's so sweet to see a little kitten go to sleep on you. And we decided to go to breakfast, leave the sliding glass door open, and of course, I think that we did that morning. She did come up to the door. She like would peek her nose out, and then she would just go back in. So we put out your jacket so she could like kind of get some scent on that jacket, because we're thinking like, well, okay, if we do bring this cat home, we have 2 cats at home. We're going to want to get the scent of her. Our boys used to the scent of her. So let's start soaking some garments that we can show to the boys. And we went to breakfast. And when we came back after breakfast, and I think maybe we did a class that morning, I can't remember. We came back and she was laying on the bed, still just curled up sleeping.
Yeah.
And we pet her and played with her, and whatnot.
She didn't want to leave. She's like, I'm happy inside. I like it in here.
And I think we're like, okay, at lunch, we need to grab some tuna, because they had tuna. And was it cottage cheese or goat cheese?
It was the goat cheese that they make at the ranch.
Chef AJ had dog treats.
Yes.
Right. And Chef AJ had the dog treats.
She was so hungry, she was eating dog treats.
Right.
Yeah, that poor little thing. Yeah.
And so we came back after lunch. We had that tuna. Like Lissa got a little bit of tuna, some of the goat cheese, and we would mix that in a little bowl with some water. And she devoured it. It was like I mean, they do the best they can at the ranch to take care of these cats, right? But it was like she'd never eaten before. She ate so fast. And then, of course, AJ was like working her magic, trying to figure out, how can we do this? Who can we talk to? There's got to be a way to get her home. And of course, AJ, you wanted to bring her home too. I remember you were like,
I never fell in love with a cat before, but I figure you had a better infrastructure for having a cat. But I did say if it didn't work, I would take her. But I have a feeling it's going to work out.
That's why you're the godmother.
That's right. And so luckily we did go to town that day, Friday, with, to just check. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to just go to the stores and check out some stuff to see more of the town. And we ended up connecting with a driver to take us back into town that night, which was so nice, because we were able to go to the vet and, get the papers so we could get her on the plane. And, we were asking people on the ranch, because there's the one girl, Jennifer, who takes care of the cats and does, anything related to the cats. We were asking her, like, do you have a cat carrier? Like, we didn't come prepared to bring a cat home, so she had the cat carrier, and she told us what we needed to do. And there was a lot of people on the property, that were really rooting for us. So it felt right. We just couldn't not bring this cat home.
Hmm.
Well, not
Yes.
everyone has to bring a cat home, just so you know.
Yeah.
We have people
Right.
watching that were in our group that, well, first of all, I want to read a really cool comment from Kitty Foster on Instagram that IKEA makes a super cool giant collapsible mixing bowl that's great for travel. So that might be a lot
Oh,
easier than like trying to pack a huge bowl in your suitcase.
that's a great idea.
And I'm going to look for it and see if I can find a link for that. But we have people watching that have been to the ranch before, like Jean and Julia were saying what a rejuvenating place and what a great
Yeah,
time they had. And
amazing place.
Susie, who I call Susie, she's watching and
Oh,
she's watching.
Susie.
Hey,
So did you have, I'd love for you to tell people like a little bit about your experience at the ranch with the classes, with the accommodations, because my feeling now is I can promote the ranch to anybody. Because if somebody that's 100% raw can not only do it and find enough food and food they like, that there anybody can do it. And, I was worried. I talked to the dietitian. I'm like, you don't really get raw people here. What do you? And it was not a problem. They got you avocado when you needed it, dates. You were able to get enough food, right?
Hmm.
right. And
Exactly.
it was nice too because we were able to get our numbers and everybody gets their numbers for, their dinner. And they did accommodate us really well, where they brought out stuff that was special just for us. We told them, I think the first day, it was the very first day we got there, they had guacamole in a half of a Roma tomato. They had cut the Roma tomato lengthwise. So they had this two halves and it was stuffed with guacamole and, some other veggies kind of laid on the tray. And that was just so nice because it was made special for us, so we did feel like, okay, cool, they're going to be watching out for us. Yeah, and the whole trip, like Lissa said, we could just ask for things. Like if we wanted extra avocado, they'd get us extra avocado.
The thing is, everybody
Yeah.
wanted your food when people saw those little stuffed guacamole or the wrap, and they were so open to it. We had a meeting on the last day with one of the sous chefs, and we let them taste Lissa's wraps,
Mm,
and they showed us their oven, which has a dehydrator function, and they asked for the recipe. I mean, not that they can make wraps for 150 people, but that would be so cool, wouldn't it?
It would be.
amazing.
Yeah, definitely super cool. And everything about the ranch was so wonderful. Like the morning
Mm,
hikes, we got up early to go on the hikes. We even went on a hike, just Nate and I. They don't recommend you hike alone, but because we were a pair, they let us up and they had a shepherd who kind of followed us along the whole hike. He stayed far back, just made sure that we were safe and we got back to the ranch safe. So that was really amazing. It was awesome to get up before the sunrise and see the sunrise during the hikes, doing the meditations. The favorite, though, is the sound healing, Chef
mm,
AJ.
Absolutely. And do either of
yeah.
you have your brochure? Because mine, not the brochure, the schedule, because I'd have to leave the camera to go get it. But if people knew how many things they could do, starting at
Yeah.
5:45 a.m., going till 9 p.m., the
So much to
like
do.
I don't know, 10 or 14 possible fitness classes, some gentle, some more
Yeah.
vigorous, all these different hikes, things, the body, mind, spirit, the meditation classes, which are my favorite, the sound
Mm,
healing, the inner journey. I tend to focus on that, or just laying in the hammock. That's not a
yeah.
class, but that's a really fun thing to do there.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I know when we first got that itinerary, we're on the bus, which, for anybody watching and they're riding the bus in, if you get motion sickness, make sure you call ahead and see if you can get a spot at the front of the bus because if you're sitting at the back of the bus, you can't see the horizon line. And I don't really get motion sickness. I don't think I've ever felt motion sickness like I did on this bus ride. That was really intense. Um, but yeah, as soon as we were on that bus, though, we started to look through the itinerary of what was what and there's so much to do it can be overwhelming but there's anything and everything essentially if yeah like AJ was saying if you want some stuff that's more rigorous you want to sweat a lot really active they have dance classes they've got drumming classes there's activities in the pool they have of course all the different add-ons like massages and facials and the Watsu water massage, pickleball. There's just like endless things to do. Chanting classes, breath work classes. The active stretch class was one of Liz and I's favorite. There's silks, like if you ever want to do aerialist kind of silk things, they have a silk class. There was just so much. It was like overwhelming in a good way. And of course, we're like, all right, we need some downtime. like, because it's really important to have like a little bit of downtime. So yeah, you won't be struggling for finding things to do there. But it was really nice to just lay in the hammock, read, and just enjoy the grounds itself. The property itself is manicured to the nines. It's beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah, it really is. And I know like some days we would do like a breath work and then a kettlebell workout and then a rebounder workout. Like we were hopping all over the place. And it was really cool because we got to experience different styles of workouts as well and get kind of like a little taste of all different kinds of things, like the fascia body movement stretch class or the gyrokinesis, which was a really interesting class as well. And we had other guests that we were hanging out with who were like, oh, this is great. I want to try new things. I want to explore something different, something that I've never done before. Because maybe you've never done a rebounder class, or maybe you've never picked up a kettlebell, or maybe you've never done fascia stretching. It's a great way to kind of get introduced to these things. And then your classes, Chef AJ, those were so much fun.
Yeah, the classes were so fun. That was
Mhm.
definitely one of the highlights of the trip. And because I didn't really think I was going to be able to attend those. But I'm so grateful that Raina and the whole crew over there allowed me to come and be a second sous chef. It was so much fun. That was a really great addition to the whole week for sure. And it seemed as if everybody who was taking the classes were having a great time too. There's lots of laughing and smiles and yeah, really neat experience.
Hmm.
Nice. Do you guys have any questions for Lissa and Nate about their Rancho La Puerta experience or about the ranch? Where is the ranch located?
Tecate!
It's practically San Diego. You basically fly in or drive into the San Diego airport, and I know Nate, I don't know, Nate talked about motion sickness. I've been on the bus 25 times. I've never gotten it, but it's not like a little rickety bus. It's this huge luxury bus
The
that
luxury bus.
with little footrest, and it reclines, and they have a restroom there, and it's about an hour and 15 most drive from San Diego airport to the border. So once you cross the border, you're practically there. So it's pretty much almost like San Diego. So it has similar weather, and actually it was too cold for me, but apparently this is high season March, and a lot of people like the weather there in March. I like the summer better.
It was really nice weather. We only had one day that was misty, kind of like
Yeah,
overcast, mist fog, kind of, which was really cool for the one hike that we did. It was really
yeah.
pretty. But yeah, we got lucky with the weather. It was really nice.
Mm. It was beautiful. Yeah, it was just warm enough to break a sweat if you wanted to, laying out in the sun. And yeah, the nighttime was definitely cool. I loved the weather. I really loved it. Um, Yeah, and yeah, and the motion sickness thing. The reason I say that is because I talked to quite a few other people who said that that was like one of the most intense rides that they took, and I believe also because the bus, it's a luxury bus. They have underneath all of the seats is where they put all the luggage, so you're sitting up kind of high, and it's a really windy road. And I'm always the one driving, so I don't ever get motion sickness, and I've never experienced that. And it was so interesting, like really having to focus. I had to put my headphones in and just like I couldn't look around at anybody. So, for those who do go, keep that in mind if you have some. I'm not sure what the medication is called. I know a couple people were talking about getting that medication, but all I did after to make sure that that didn't happen where I was sitting in the back, I just said, hey, I get a little motion sickness. Can I get a spot up at the front? And I got a reserved seat for me and Lissa. We were at the very front of the bus on the way back, and I had no problem at all. So I feel like even if you were just a couple seats from the very front, you'd probably be good. But, keep that in mind because that would be my only kind of downside to the trip was that experience on the bus, which of course, how are you to know
You
that
could,
kind of thing?
if that was the case, somebody could always find another way to get in. Uber, private driver. People can actually
True.
get to the ranch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very true. Yeah. You didn't have to, yeah, like you're saying, you don't have to take the bus. But it was kind of a fun experience, all of us getting on the bus. And I wanted to hang out because we were all sitting in a row, right? There was you, AJ, and Hannah, and then me and Lissa. And, we were wanting to talk and, just have fun. But then pretty soon I was like, whoa, I'm starting to feel something. I need to focus. So, but yeah, like you're saying, you could get a different ride in.
You
But
could
that would,
also take some
yeah,
ginger chews too, like
yeah.
on some
There
ginger
you go.
chews.
Right.
But that's something that was really, I mean, it's obviously not the ranch's fault, but they were
Mhm.
really accommodating. And that's one of the biggest things that I loved most about the ranch was how accommodating they were to
Yeah.
us, like regardless of what we wanted or what we needed. They even had somebody come around at breakfast time one day and he had a notepad and he came up to the table and he said, "Hey, I'm like here to help make your stay even better. Like, is there anything you need in your room?" So,
Mm.
we'd be like, "Oh, we want some like carbonated water or we need the fireplace done up," which was awesome too. There was like a little
Mm.
fireplace in our place. So he just wrote it on his little pad and then, off he went and got it done. So very, very
Yeah.
accommodating, super friendly, super nice. Everyone was
Oh,
smiling and
the
happy.
staff,
Yeah.
yeah, the staff was next level. They were amazing. Anything you need, and of course, if you have, you're going to the pool, they have the shower at the pool. They've got a couple pools. All the towels are there. Everything is taken care of. It was nice. They had a laundromat open 24/7, so that's kind of cool. So if you are into doing your own laundry, you can do your own laundry, but they have a service where you could just have your laundry done. I mean, yeah, it was really cool how accommodating they were, and anything that you'd want, they would do their best to get for you, right? So I did like that. I really did like that.
Yep, it's are you kidding me? Get it? When you there's a question, how you are so awesome to adopt her. Do you know her backstory at all, and how long has she been at the ranch, and how did you determine her beautiful name? Dove Dove.
Dove
Yes,
love.
go ahead, babe. Well, so
Okay.
here I'll start with this, and then you can wrap it.
Okay.
Um, we found out that she was born on in the garden. She's like one of the garden cats. Um, so like I guess there's like a family of cats out there, and that's where she came from. And that's a little ways away from the actual grounds. I don't think it was at the restaurant. It was at the what is it, the greenhouse, or we didn't take that walk where we got to see
La
um
Casina Picanta, the not that walk, huh?
not that walk. There's another one closer, like a greenhouse or something maybe. But supposedly that's where she came from, was from there. Um yeah, and then everybody loves her, of course. I mean, she's a really talkative and beautiful cat. But yeah, then what do you got to add to that, babe?
Yeah, so multiple staff members had told me, like from the one who took us on the hike to a couple other ones said, they're trying to find a home for her because there was another staff member there who kind of sort of cared for her a little bit more than the others did. And he was going away for 6 months, so he wouldn't be there. And they're like, we really want to find a home for her because, like the cats, they can get eaten by the coyotes and it's just not as safe for them, even though
Or
they're
taken by the turkey vultures.
right. That
Man,
too.
those things were
They're
huge.
huge. And she was only 7 months old. She's been spayed. So they like to spay and neuter the cats on the ranch, so there's not an overabundance of them. But yeah, she, all up to date with everything. And she was, yeah, just a little kitten, 7 months old, super talkative, very friendly, extroverted. She's
Mm.
so sweet. So that's what we know about her. And they were more than happy, over the moon, that we were going to take her and give her a really loving life. She's been doing really good here. Like she's not scared of anything. This cat is not scared of anything. She's very curious, inquisitive, walking around. We haven't introduced her like face to face to the boys yet. Right now, we're following a guy on YouTube. His name is Jackson Galaxy. He's the cat daddy, and he's helped us a lot with our boys, like, catification of the house and stuff like that. And he has this introduction protocol where you only have them smell each other. So you have a closed door for about a week or so, or until they're comfortable enough. There's no more growling when you're feeding them on the other side of the door, and they're just really comfortable with each other's smells. Then you swap the door for a screen, and we found a screen on Amazon for $22. So we'll just install that, and they'll be able to see each other. Eventually, we'll like lift up a little towel or whatever, like an inch every day, so that they can see each other. And this is like the best way to introduce a new cat. You introduce with smell first, and you tie in some kind of like a positive experience, like play or food and loving, so that they can see each other how each other plays so they don't get scared like, oh, you're going to attack me when that's just a play mechanism or whatever they're trying to do. So you want to play with them, feed them, give them a lot of positivity when they're in each other's presence. And I think they're going to do great. Like the boys are so calm. Raja kind of got scared a little bit when she hissed at him, but under the door. But they've been really good. Like since you've been in Utah, Nate, they've been like really, really good. She hasn't growled today yet at them, so that's big progress. And I think by the time you get back, you're going to be
Yeah.
able to install that screen.
Yeah, I think the screen is it's a great move for sure. And then share how we named her.
Oh yeah, so the reason her name is Dove is because the first like really good like bonding connection that I had with her was on that meditation hike. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this cat is amazing." And usually I like to name the cats, even if I don't name them out loud, I name them in my head. I'll be like, "Oh, that cat is like Cherry Blossom or whatever, like
Mhm.
whatever kind of like connection I had with the cat, I'll kind of name them in my head. And I decided to name her Dove because we took the Dove Trail, and that's how she got her name. And we call her
And
Dove.
I think that her name on the property was Sophie, or was it
Yes,
Sophia? Sophie?
Sophie.
Yeah.
Sophie. Yeah.
And
So we
of
kind of
course
call her Sophie Dove.
but she doesn't answer to either yet. So she's still at that stage where, we're keep calling her the same name so she'll eventually answer, because both our boys, it took them a while, but they know their names now.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's interesting seeing how they have, grown to kind of be a little bit more calm around the door, because, Jackson Galaxy talks about like, don't even let them see each other. So
Mhm.
we brought her into the room, we have her in the spare room. And yeah, we'll just take these steps slowly, because he says if you do it like this, it works every single time. There's no issues. Yeah, so definitely going to be great to see them all be together, because I know that Dove wants to be out in the main house, which we have swapped them. We've put are the boys in the room right now?
Yeah, they're in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I blocked the door so that they can't get out. But she's kind of roaming around. I saw her. Oh my gosh. Oh, she's on the
The pillow.
pillow on the trampoline.
Is she laying there?
Yeah.
Which is so cool, because that pillow is Raja's pillow. So, it's soaked with his scent, and she's getting his scent on her. And, he'll come back out. Uh, he'll come
Yes.
back out and he'll smell her on his pillow. And all of these things are going to really help that introduction
Yeah,
go a
can you
lot more.
guys see her?
Yeah, we can
She's
see her
on.
perfect.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
She's just passed right out. So adorable.
Cat played you from the minute she met you. Like,
For
so
real.
thank you, Kitty. I put the link if people want to get the bowl that she mentioned, the collapsible large bowl from IKEA. It's
Yeah,
$2.99.
that's cool. The link's in the chat too. Not
It's in
us.
the chat on Instagram
On
and also on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay.
Yep. So it got some nice comments from previous ranch guests. If you want to you can go without my group, but if you go with my group, and I do these sometimes only once a year, sometimes this year I have two, and the second one is with Dr. Goldhammer. You get perks if you go with me, like lower rates and special dispensations, like a free cooking class or $150 credit you can get. Oh, you got to talk about the spa treatments.
Mm.
But first, let me read some nice comments. Okay, there is one from, oh, people love my sweater. Thank you. It was a gift from last year's birthday from Shada, and I don't know exactly where she got. I mean, I know she got it on Amazon, and it's called Doko, Dokotoo, Dokotu. So this is last year on Amazon, and it was a gift. So I can't really look it up because I didn't buy it, but I know it came from there. Jean says, I love the ranch when I went with Chef AJ several years ago. Such a wonderful retreat. Susie says, best experience ever at the ranch with Chef AJ. If you have never given yourself a treat of a lifetime, it's the most serene, magical, and wonderful place. And it is true because, it was always on my bucket list to go. I never thought in a million years when I first heard about the ranch 35 years ago, because it's been there, I believe, 80 years or 85 years, that I would ever be a presenter, let alone a regular presenter. It's just an amazing place. And if you really need to go there because I think it's the most healing place in the world, actually. And so fun. Colleen, who came to the first group, Rancho is fantastic. Go if you can, and just manifest it somehow to go. There's if you have more people in your room, yes, it's not like going to the Motel 6, and it's not even it's so funny because this will be Dr. Goldhammer's second year, and people want to go, but his rates are ridiculously low at True North. They're like 179 a night for a shared room. And when people hear it's like, oh, but I mean, what do you expect for the amount of amenities and services you get? I mean, yes, it is not a cheap vacation. So save your pennies now and feel free to ask any questions to us if we can do anything to help you get there. But let's talk about the treatments, the spa treatments. Oh my gosh, talk about those. You had one almost every day.
Almost every day. I'm actually glad that I didn't have one on Friday because we adopted the cat. Would have had to forfeit that one. But I had originally had a booked, and I recommend if you do book the ranch, come in July, go with Chef AJ and Dr. Alan Goldhammer. You're going to have an amazing time. But I booked something every single day except the Friday. But it was amazing. It was massage. I did the Watsu. It's the water massage. That was on Sunday. And then I had a facial on Monday, and then a massage on Tuesday, and then a facial on Wednesday, and then a massage on Thursday. It was so awesome. I really enjoyed having them at the 8 p.m. So right after the cooking school, we went straight to the spa, had our treatment, and then went to bed. It was just so luxurious. Definitely recommend doing that. And you can get packages too. So if you go, you can pre-purchase or pre-book a package where you can get 4 or 5 different treatments, and you'll pay a little bit less for those. But you want to bring a little cash so you can tip your therapist or your practitioner after as well. They have these little tip boxes, and you can write the name of the therapist on there with your date and your name, and you can put it in the little tip box, and they'll get that. But those are extra on top of the whole retreat kind of thing, but are definitely worth it. And my favorite, I had 2 favorites. I loved the Watsu. The Watsu is kind of in a league of its own. It's not really a massage. It's not a facial. It's kind of its own spiritual water experience kind of thing. So that's definitely in a league of its own. But my favorite massage was the head to toe. I had the head to toe massage. I did the 80-minute one. Definitely would be doing that one again. And I've had hot stone massages before, but never a hot stone facial. So I wanted to see what that was like. And it's my new favorite. It's like they have these hot stones that they do a face massage with. And it was next level awesome. So those would be my 2 favorites. Aside from the Watsu, the Watsu is definitely top.
I love Watsu, and that's where I was introduced to it. And it's very hard to find outside of the ranch. I mean, there are certain places because you need a very specific pool at a very specific temperature. It really is an amazing experience if you ever can get it. And the ranch is one place that for sure you can get it. I've had it once in LA and once in San Diego, but the practitioners at the ranch, it's like being back in your mother's womb,
Mm-hmm. I know. I love how she would say because I'm not the biggest water person. I like to be in the hot tub and stuff. So she was like, all you have to do is lay like seaweed. Pretend you're seaweed. So, I would just imagine myself being like the seaweed, and they float you around, and you become one with the water, and it's really magical experience. Definitely recommend booking one of those if you go.
Absolutely. Guys, come on, ask some questions. Why aren't you coming with me on July 19th? Oh, what's fun though about being the groups is you have all the ranch activities, which are, basically you're fed 6 times a day. They have breakfast from 7 or 7:30 to 9, lunch from 12 to 1:30, dinner from 5:30 to 7. And then they have a fruit snack. I think it's at 10:30, a smoothie snack for you at the smoothie bar with chips and dip at I think it's about 2:30, and then another meal opportunity. You guys didn't even go to those 3 extra meal opportunities, but between lunch and dinner, a veggie snack. But when you're with the group with me, we have little private things in the rooms. We had a game night, and you guys played the shoe game. That was really, really fun.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
really
fun.
fun. I liked the game night. That was so much fun. I loved the games that you had us all play, and it was really cool going with the group. And I would definitely recommend anyone who's thinking of it, go with Chef AJ, go with the group because you make connections for life and you become friends with these people, and everyone is just so amazing. You learn so many things about them and their lives, and yeah, it was just such a nourishing experience,
It
totally.
really was. It really was.
So,
Yeah.
question, what kind of dehydrator do you use to make the wraps?
The wraps. So we have an Excalibur 9 tray. We recommend using the model 3926 TB or TCDB. And the CD just means clear door. So don't worry about like the letters or whatever, but it's model 3926. The 26 is the timer. So it's a 26-hour timer. And the 9 tray we recommend because it's the full size. So you're getting the 14 by 14 trays and you'll be able to get 2 wraps out of 1 wrap recipe. If you get the smaller dehydrator, the downside to the smaller ones with the wraps is that the silicone trays that you put the wraps on, they block the airflow. So the smaller the dehydrator that you have, the longer everything's going to take to dry, especially if you use all the trays. Everything's going to take way longer to dry. So we recommend getting the 9 tray and then maybe doing 1 or 2 batches max in the 9 tray. So you're only using 4 trays. You've got plenty of airflow going on in there, and they should only take 12 to 16 hours depending on your humidity level of where you live. And then they should be dry. You start them the night before, they're dry the next day, and you can roll them up. You can take them to Mexico if you want. Go with Chef AJ in July, make some wraps and stick them in your checked bag. Just take them to Mexico with you, and you can have a little bonus snacks with you when you're there.
Yep. Why do you like the clear? I didn't know that they had one that you could see through the clear door.
I personally, I don't find it any different because I just take the door off when I want to look at them. But the clear door is nice if you want to be able to see what's going on in there. Not that there's much going on, but you can do that. It's a little more expensive. I think it's actually a little more expensive, like $50 or $60 extra to get the one with the clear door. So if you're trying to save money, just get the regular plain old black door and just take it off. It's really easy to take off.
And do you recommend a timer? Mine does. I had one with a timer, but I felt I didn't really need it. So I got the cheaper one the second time.
Yeah, you don't need a timer. It's totally not necessary. Unless you are, you're going out of the house and you want to make sure that something doesn't get too dry, you might use the timer. But we have one with a timer. We have 2 with a timer and 1 without a timer. And we use them all. And we don't really notice because when they're done, they're done. We just turn it off. So it's not crucial. Plus, with the wraps, if you have high humidity and you set it for 12 hours and they're not dry after 12 hours and it stops, there's going to be some moisture buildup inside of the dehydrator. So that can actually make them stay softer longer. So you might not need a timer for those because the time's going to differ based on where you live, how many trays you have full, the humidity level, and all that stuff.
Hmm. Had either of you heard about Rancho La Puerta before knowing me? And Nate, was it worth giving up the ski trip for?
It was absolutely worth giving up the ski trip for, and it worked out in my behalf because last week when we were there was no snow happening up here. I mean, of course, there was still snow at the resorts, but yesterday we got probably close to 2 feet of fresh snow. Today's the sun's out. Tomorrow we're going again, and it's going to be amazing. So it worked out all for the better. Everything happens just as it should, and for sure, I would definitely do it again and cancel my trip. The only reason that I had a little bit of hesitation was because a couple of the friends that I was coming to meet had scheduled days off. So I was kind of like messing with their schedule. It wasn't necessarily me, but I did feel bad for them, but they were able to reschedule those days off, which was great. So yeah, it was definitely worth missing the ski trip for it.
And you're there right now. You went snowboarding yesterday. You're going tomorrow. That's going to be awesome. And it all worked out too. It was actually like the universe just kind of like arranged everything perfectly so we could get that cat too.
Yeah, exactly. It's so true.
Who was the most interesting person you guys met at the ranch?
Aside from you,
That's a great, great question.
But you didn't get to meet Senora Deborah, the founder, because at the last
I know I was really bummed to not meet her. Donna was a hoot. I definitely loved Donna. Um, some other, I mean, of course, everybody in the group was great in their own way. It was really great to connect with all of them. Interesting people. I would say,
Presenters too. It doesn't necessarily have to
yeah, I was gonna say, what was her name? Ilana, how do you say it?
be the fitness lady. Yeah.
Yeah. So she did the fitness classes and then she did the sound healing. And I was just like, man, she's really well versed. Then there was also John Kelly, who ran Bendable Body and the active stretch class. He was super, super cool. Very interesting flow that he would lead us through, resistance stretching class. Really, really fascinating stuff. Yeah, so that, and then of course, Coco and what was her name? Connie? Yeah.
Connie and Coco, they're twins.
Yeah.
Because
They were really cool.
yeah, Coco was the one who took us on the meditation hike. And the day before that, Connie, her sister, had done the sound healing for us. So when we were on the hike, I assumed that that was Connie because I had no idea that they were twins. But when I saw her, she was like, "Oh, Connie," because I called her Connie, and she was like, "Oh, I'm Coco. Connie's my twin sister." And I was like, "No way." So yeah, everybody there was so cool. I agree. John Kelly was one of the more fascinating presenters because I've been wanting, like, in the back of my head of the zillions of things that I want to do for my health, fascia stretching has always been one of those things that I really want to get into. So he kind of really inspired you and I both to start doing more
Yeah,
fascia stretching.
exactly. So good. And then there was Donna or Dana.
Dana,
Yeah,
yeah, the
Dana
yoga
Banana.
breath
Yeah,
work. Yeah.
she did the yoga, she did the breath work, she did the chanting class, she did a sound healing session. She was really, really great. And then there was the musicians, the quartet. That was really cool. That was they weren't I didn't really have too many conversations with them. The next morning I saw them at breakfast and I thanked them for the concert. But I mean, everybody was really great. Yeah, and as far as like any kind of connections, I felt that, yeah, that John Kelly, we probably had more words with him just because, it was just such a fascinating class. Uh, yeah, and then of course, like I said, everybody was cool. We didn't get to meet all the presenters, but it was just a really fascinating and incredible experience, the whole thing. And yeah, I think if anybody could, save their pennies, like AJ's saying, to save up to go, because it isn't a cheap place to go, but man, it is worth everything that you're spending. And I really like how Deborah was saying, which she was also a part of the group. She's like, her first time was like over 30 years ago. And she was like, yeah, I just kept saying like, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. She wanted to come back. And then she got to a point in her life where she was like, I can't afford not to go. And I thought, man, that's pretty powerful because this is, like I can only imagine there's some lifelong friendships that have been formed there and kept from being in that kind of environment. Some people are a bit more raw, a bit more open. There's just, it's just filled with so many good things. Yeah.
Totally.
It's like a sensory and information overload in a
Yes.
way too.
You're immersed. You're immersed
Yeah.
in health and fitness and mind, body, spirit. We even went
Yeah.
on a little nature hike with Rob Larson. He was he was the ranch historian, and he was telling us all kinds of stuff about the agave plants and
Right.
the trees and the birds and some of the history. And the ranch is, yes, 85 years old. It was founded in 1940. And just like it was one of the very first, it was the very first fitness spa kind of a destination place, which was the framework for all the other ones that came after it. So definitely world changing in the realm of, fitness spa resorts.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go to a fitness spa, go to Rancho because it's one of a kind place.
So there's a
So
question. Lana, she'd like to go, but she can't go the week in July. Do I have the next date? And unfortunately, I don't. We were hoping to get it in time, but I can promise you that the next time Lissa and Nate will be there with me, and it's looking like it's going to be June, July, or August of 2026 because people want the lowest rates, and those are the months with the lowest rates.
Hmm. And
Mhm.
that's going to be so fun. So, save up your pennies, start like a little bank account or whatever you need to do to start putting away a little cash so that you can come. It'll be again next year. So you've got some time and we would love to see you there. And the cooking classes will be so fun because we'll be doing some raw stuff, and
We'll be
then
doing hybrid
yeah,
classes.
hybrid. Yeah.
Make it cooked.
Make it raw, make it cooked. I love it.
Fun, yeah. And we're talking about Rancho La Puerta in Tecate, Mexico. There's many videos on this channel. If you just put in the little magnifying glass Rancho that I've done with Donna and with Reina and with other people from the ranch. And it was so funny. I was at the Mercado at the store, and these two ladies came up to me. They weren't in our group, but they said to me, "Oh, we're here because of your videos." And I go, "Oh, thanks." And I thought like maybe they saw a cooking video or something, but it turned out it was a video that we had done with Susanna about how to navigate the ranch for first timers. And so like two people came, not in my group, but just because they saw it on YouTube. That was kind of cool.
That is so cool. And we have our video that we're going to post shortly. I was hoping to have it done, but these videos take like 30 or 40 hours to edit because they're so in depth and detailed. There's like, I think I have over 400 clips that I took over the week. So I'm trying to, get them all ready to go, do the voiceover, add music to it. But we're going to get that up on YouTube so everyone can see. It's going to be about an hour and a half long. So,
Wow. Well, if you wouldn't mind, maybe I could also put it on my
yes.
channel as well as link to this one. We were hoping to have that for you today, but that will give you more in-depth because a picture is worth 1,000 words. And when you see the beauty of the ranch, speaking of beauty, what did you guys think of the organic garden there where we went out and picked the
Oh my
vegetables
gosh.
for dinner?
It was
It
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it
like
was.
mind blowing.
Yeah, it's so cool to see all of the stuff that they grow there. How much of the things that you're eating at the ranch come from the garden? Yeah,
Hmm.
it was incredible. That's another reason I think that people should do the classes with you, Chef AJ, is because they get that whole experience on a different level. They do the walks though. You could go over there and you could walk through the garden. They do a tour there. They've got the breakfast hike, which is really cool too. But yeah, my gosh, it was incredible to see their gardens.
Hmm.
Huge.
It
Brit.
was so crazy. Like the very first day that we got there was Saturday. We did the sound healing, and then we had dinner. And I'm laying in bed. I'm like, I'm already coming back with you, Nate. Like
Yeah,
we're like, regardless if we're presenters or not, this
right.
is going to be a thing. And there's people who come like every year. It's their thing. It's part of their, yearly vacation. They go there. You can reset. You
Yeah.
just get some inner reflection, and
I
you get
can't imagine a better place to go. And I mean, I've never been to Europe. I haven't had a desire to go. I've been to Asia. I've been to, what's it called? The Caribbean. But, I've done so many cruises and nothing can hold a candle to Rancho. And that's probably why people come back year after
Mm.
year for 50 years.
yeah, definitely. I can see why. It's, once you go once, you're like, oh my gosh,
I
like this is on the, yeah.
There's just something very special about that whole mountain called the Kachuma Mountain. And until people experience the beauty and the serenity of the ranch, I think it's kind of like trying to tell people what your wraps right here, what your wraps like. I can't explain to you. Let me just, oh my God, just the smell. I can't explain to you what Lissa's wraps taste like, but everybody that tasted it, all the chefs that work there said this is like the best thing they've ever tasted because
Mm.
these are not only vegan, but they're gluten-free and they're raw and they're SOS free and they're low calorie density
And they're high in omega-3.
and I mean they're better because I have to be gluten-free and this is like the closest thing to bread other than bread that I'll ever have.
Mm.
And oh my gosh, I wish I wasn't going out of town again tomorrow. I have, for me, I have another job. I'm going to another place that's supposed to be, I don't want to say on par with the ranch because it's a different experience, but I've never been to the Stanford Inn in Mendocino. And what I'm happy about this job, not only is my friend Dr. Goldhammer is going to be presenting with me, but it's my 30th wedding anniversary. So I get to bring the whole family, Charles and Bailey, because it is It is inherently dog friendly, and that would be the only thing I would, if I was gonna. The only suggestion I'd have to improve the ranch, not that it needs any improving, is they have these different weeks. They have men's week, they have kids week, they have culinary week, they have yoga week. How about dog week? I would love
Mm,
the ranch where we all got to bring our dogs. That would be amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
I
man, that
love
would be
that.
so fun.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what they did for me, and those of you that follow me on social media, I posted. So it was my birthday, and so I asked, I know that they would make a cake because they do that, but I don't know if it would necessarily be vegan or, I don't eat chocolate, and so I gave them a recipe of one of my favorite vegan cakes, and I think you tasted it, Nate. Kathy Fisher makes a carrot cake from Straight Up Food, and they did
Ah,
such a beautiful presentation. And I mean, it tasted exactly. I know what it's supposed to taste like because I've made it and I've had Kathy make it for me, and it was so good.
it was
Mm.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love how accommodating they were. Again, they go out of their way to make you have an amazing experience. So,
Well, one
Mhm.
of the things that that I learned, and even though you couldn't make it Wednesday night because the Senora Deborah, it ended up not speaking. She's the owner. She's going to be, is she 102 now or going to be 102 this year or 103? But she's very fascinating, one of the most interesting people I've ever met. And I had the privilege of interviewing her when she was 100 on this channel. So Barry, like kind of her right-hand man, the director of guest services, the show must go on. So he kind of answered questions on her behalf. And one of the questions was, well, why do people work here so long? Because they have people that have worked there, till they retire, 50 years, 30 years, depending on their position. And they'll have multi generations. Like my grandfather worked there, my uncle, and so Barry said that Deborah said that when you hire people, look for people that are kind and happy because everything else can be taught. And so
mm,
everybody at the ranch, like, I mean, think about Samantha, just
mm,
Mhm.
how and their motto is siempre mejor, which is like always better. So uh,
Mm.
it's a pretty amazing place, and it's like a week.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like after you're there for 24 hours, you lose track of time. You no
Yeah.
longer know what day it is anymore. It's like you're in
Mhm.
this alternate reality, and again, it's one of those things that until you experience it, you won't really know what we're talking about. But my wish for you is that everybody could experience it, once in their lives because it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, at least once in your life. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Mary says, someday I would like to visit Rancho. There's no such someday. Someday is now,
Yeah.
don't wait until you get cancer or whatever. Just go, make it happen. Yeah. Oh, Jean says the Rancho is like going to summer camp on steroids for adults. I kind of think of
Yes.
Disneyland for adults because if
Yeah.
you go more than once, the first time you want to do everything and you get so tired trying to take all these classes. And like one of the fitness people said, hey, look, at home, do you exercise 8 times a day? No, but people want to try every single class. And then the next time you come back, you kind of have a flavor of what you really resonate with. And so then you can just hone in. I think you're holding somebody right now, Lissa.
I am holding somebody right now. I had to go get her to
Now,
show everybody.
now being a ranch cat and growing up at the ranch for 6 months, does she speak English and understand you?
She definitely
Mhm.
understands because she will talk back. Oh, she's saying stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Does she miss the ranch?
I don't think she does. She doesn't have any like signs that she does. She's so curious and she's so loving and she just like snuggles up and she just wants to be around us. She's so sweet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a little spot on her head, like right
I
here.
know, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Cute. You're famous. I know. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
See, it's
Well,
your godmother. Yeah.
present for her. Lissa, I have your hand salads book. My family just loves the wrap. I can't keep up the demand. And that's why we just wish recipe for the wraps, please. Sure, you can get Lissa's book, and I'm sure it's in the show notes below. It's called Hand Salads, and that's not just the recipe for this wrap, but I think there's 40 more in there.
Yeah, there's
Mm.
34 total. Yeah, 34. And not only are they the wrap recipes, but there's also recipes for the filling and different toppings and sauces. So they're all matchy, right? Like, like we have like the Mexican wrap, we have a pizza wrap, we have a falafel style wrap, a Halifax donair, because I'm Canadian, so I wanted to have a Canadian donair in there. So there's that. The everything bagel one is the most popular. That's the one that is, it's not that one is easier to make than the other. They're all really easy to make. If you can make a smoothie, you can make the wraps. But the everything bagel one we make the most because we have it memorized. So we know the weights, and you want to follow the weights when you're doing the recipe. Make sure that you use the exact weights that we have laid out in the book so you get the same volume as we do. So your wraps aren't too thin, they're not too thick. You just follow it to a T, and yeah, they're so good.
Yeah, they
I
are
remember like when we first had the piece, we cut those little squares, and we hadn't had any wraps in days. We were doing the fruit breakfast, and of course we had that little salsa dish as well. It's like cabbage and onions and salsa. And then at lunch we would do the salad, and dinner we would do the salad. And then when we got that wrap out and we cut it up, man, my whole body was like just shivering with excitement because it tasted like just the most amazing onion bread, because it had been like 4 days. We were just having, and no dressing either. Like we're using lime juice with maybe some avocado and some salsa, and that's our dressing for each salad. So of course, we were trying to figure out like, oh, it really would be cool if they could make a couple of raw dressings, oil-free for, maybe at least one of the meals each day. That'd be really, really amazing. Because, I mean, we like variety too. Having salsa and guac for your dressing with the lime juice for 2 meals a day every day can kind of get a little boring, right? So yeah, when we brought those wraps out, and then they started to actually serve the Kalamata olives, which was great because we had a little bit of, that salt in there as well. Oh my gosh, that just alone made such a huge difference.
Yeah, they had this one, two of the lunches, they had these tomatoes, and they were obviously tomatoes from the garden. And it switches up depending on what they have available in the garden. So it's always kind of different depending on what they have. But they had these tomatoes that were just like marinated in oregano. And I could have eaten plates and plates and plates and plates of those tomatoes. They were so good. But yeah, the Kalamata olives really made it next level. And having the wraps as kind of a little bonus extra was really nice. And then we had our freeze-dried buffalo cauliflower, which we added kind of like croutons on top of our salad at dinner time. So that was really nice to have that extra bonus as well. But you can do it. You can do raw at the ranch, even though it's similar things every day. It's still possible. And,
raw.
it's
You can do SOS free. What about the granola? You're not even talking about the granola.
Oh,
Oh,
granola. Your granola is so incredible. Thank you so much for making that for us. I actually snacked on some of it yesterday. It's so good. So
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. So just to recap, and we are going again in the summer of 2026, me, Lissa, and Nate. We don't have those dates yet. However, if you'd like to not wait, July 19th to 26th, that's a Saturday to Saturday. If you can get to San Diego, we can get you the rest of the way. I've been posting the link, and it's actually a special, I think, a 85th anniversary. There's a lot more bonuses this time. So, we do special things with Dr. Goldhammer, private Q&As. He teaches us how to play basketball, but it includes a cooking class, private group presentations and dinners with me, lodging, meals, and snacks, including accommodations for any food preference, just about hikes, classes, concerts, all the ranch classes, round trip transportation from San Diego airport, and $150 resort credit. So you can use that for a spa treatment. You could use it for a bonus cooking class, or you could just buy stuff at the store. So this is an 85th anniversary summer savings and wellness package. Prices will never be this low than this July because of the 85th anniversary. And you get 7 stays, including complimentary wellness package. Listen to what this includes. Oh my gosh. Ranch Classic Massage, 50 minutes. La Puerta Core Essentials Facial, 50 minutes. 85th anniversary treatment, 85 minutes. I can't believe all this is included. You better check.
what?
This sounds like too much. 2 juices, smoothies at the juice bar. And this sounds amazing. Make sure you have your passport. Remember, the deadline to register is April 18th. Because, see, after that, what happens is we have to release the rooms to other guests. So, it doesn't mean that you
dang.
go, but if you want to go with us, yeah.
What a screaming deal. Holy.
Yeah,
Wow.
let's get your video up soon so that they can really see what this is all about. And
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that finished tonight, and I will send it to you so you can post it too.
That would be amazing. Well, the other thing is you guys were my roommates. So that's fun.
We loved being your roomies.
We really got along, and we had this. Well, except for I think you guys like it a little bit cooler than me. But you had a window, you had a fan. Other than that, we got along great. We were never really in the room very much for the same time, except for sleeping. I roomed with Dr. Lyle once because you're never really. I mean, they have these beautiful casitas, no television, but you're really almost never in your room.
Yeah, they even have these little like cell phone sleeping bags that you
Love
can
that. I
fit.
was, I
Yeah.
was, I know that you have to for your job, but I was almost never on my phone except if it was to call Charles.
Exactly. I know it's so nice to not, and if I wasn't filming, I would have put my phone in there too, but I really wanted to share kind of everything that we were experiencing because I want other people to come too. I want them to go in July. I want them to come see us in next year. So I really want to show what the ranch was all about. And I tried to get as much as I could. I mean, like I said, the videos going to be about 90 minutes long. When I first entered all of the clips, it was almost 4 hours worth of
Wow.
footage that I got. So I'm trying to whittle it down so it's not super long.
Wow, amazing. Somebody's asking for the raw granola recipe. That'll be on my blog, chefaj.com soon. If you want it sooner, just subscribe at chefaj.com because then we'll email it out to you. But I did film that one and it is raw. And I made
That's
sure it
awesome.
was dehydrated at 115 just for Lissa.
I know, you're so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was
Good.
so good. Definitely, you guys got to make it.
It's a perfect travel snack because it doesn't spoil. And you can't
Oh,
bring
it
produce
was so good.
order either way, but you can bring like dry snacks like that.
Yeah. Granola and wraps. We'll save the day.
See, I never had olive in a wrap before. You made me a wrap one day. That was really a great treat. So
Aw.
thank you for coming. It really made it even more special. But hey, you got a cat. So, you got, not too many people come home with a cat. I will say it's happened before, but not to me.
Right. Well, you were really pushing for it. So we're
Well, I
like,
just felt like the fact is we didn't like lock her up in our casitas. No way. Because obviously we didn't want her to go to the bathroom in there. There was no
Yeah.
she's a tiny little thing. So we left the door open just enough for her to go in and out. And I didn't really love the bugs that were getting in. But the fact is, every time we came back to the room, she was laying on somebody's bed. It's like she didn't want to leave, obviously.
yeah, she totally
Yeah.
adopted all of us.
Yeah.
She like
Yeah.
melted our hearts.
Well, we should talk about real quick and then we'll let you go. You guys are going to be presenters. You should be giving out your link for people to register for the Vegas conference. If you love Lissa and Nate as much as I do, come to the conference, the Plant Powered Party that I'm hosting in Las Vegas, which is where they live. And you can see them in person if you can't go to the ranch or even in addition. And that's a very
Yeah.
very affordable option for people that can't go to the wrap. Go to
That's
the
gonna be
go to
an amazing event too. Good lineup. My gosh.
Yeah, a really cool lineup. So come to Vegas, everybody. Come to Vegas. Meet us. We're going to be doing a food demo. We don't know exactly what we're going to do yet, but we're doing a food demo. You'll get to hang out with the one and only Chef AJ. And
Can Dove, can they meet Dove? Can that be enough?
oh my
Might
God.
be able to bring her down in the carrier for a moment.
We could get her a little harness so she
Yeah.
can run away.
People could pet her, raise money for some cat shelter, pet Dove for $5.
That's cool idea. Yeah.
That idea.
And then, I could just bring her back home. We could have she could come down and make an appearance for an hour, or
Well,
half
you
hour maybe.
live close enough. What is the name of your cookbook and where to get it? I'm not sure who you're talking to, Debbie. I've written 4 and Lissa's written about 1,000,000. So I would just Amazon for sure for both of us. And Lissa's website is rawfoodromance.com.
Yes. The rawfoodromance.com is for the app. We have a meal planning app actually, and you can download that from the App Store. It's $5 a month, but it's billed quarterly, so it's like $14.99 every 3 months. But yeah, payhip.com/rawfoodromance if you want to grab any of our digital ebooks. And we do have print versions of many of our popular ones like the wrap book, the burger book, the soup book, the meal plans. Those are all on Amazon too. If you just search Raw Food Romance on Amazon, you should be able to find them.
Nice. And Colleen said she booked her flight today. Can't wait to meet you. And I know her
Hey.
excited she can come. And sorry I didn't show your gift on the show because I haven't picked it up yet, but hopefully it's there. We'll find out soon. Clara says, I bought my mom your book, your mom's Sweet Indulgence for the UK Mother's Day. She's been
Mm.
Thank you. And yes, Bertha, there are spots left for Vegas because the nice thing about having a conference in Vegas is hotels can keep making the room bigger. So whatever number you give them, they can make it fit. So definitely there are, and we may have one more surprise speaker. We don't want to announce it just yet because they haven't confirmed, but that'll make it even more special. So that's it, guys. Taking the ranch home with you. There's a class called Taking the Ranch Home with You, and they meet it more metaphysically and metaphorically. They took the ranch home with them.
Yeah.
yeah.
We got a great souvenir.
Absolutely, for many years to come. I hope she's not going to mind when you leave to go again because, she seems like a little bit of a princess.
Oh, she's a mega princess. Yeah.
Really, really.
But we have a woman who comes in and takes care of the cats when we're gone. So hopefully by then the boys are her besties and everyone gets along really nice. So
Great. Well, it's so good catching up with you again, and thanks for all the videos you're sending me every day of Dove.
oh, you're welcome. Well, we have to send them to her godmother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When is she going to get her own channel, for Pete's sake?
Oh,
man. Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have to if you come up with a good Instagram name, let me know.
Yeah. Right.
Dove.
That'd be pretty cool.
Love Dove.
Lovey-dovey. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please click the link below if you want to learn more about Rancho La Puerta. I'm leaving tomorrow for the Stanford Inn in Mendocino, so I won't be live again until next Thursday, April 10th at about 10:30. We're going to have Colleen Sudley, the founder of I Love Date Lady. They've got a brand new, amazing product, and dates are the best, right, guys? Aren't they?
Yes, 100%. And we love Date Lady.
Yeah,
we love Date Lady.
She's going to reveal her new product, and we're going to talk about all her other products that I have been using for years and love. Okay, everybody, take care.